I had to help. But it worked out good.
Camera headlines from the news
And
of the day.
we traveled across, I don't know, was Swola, Zutphen. It's on the Canadian-Scottish book, but I remember we went through Devonshire.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Emmerich was, when we had to go across the floating bridge, but Emmerich was Germany, wasn't it?
Yes, Emmerich on Rhine.
Eh? On the
Emmerich
Rhine,
on
yeah.
Rhine.
So that seemed to be not right at first. It was later on. We went across the Rhine River and went into Emmerich, and it was all blown to smithereens, you know. And anyway, but it was later on that I forget how long it was, but they took a German prisoner, 20 years old, and I was 20. The older Germans got shot and killed, and he come flying out of this bunker crying, and they wanted what to do with him, so the major gave him to me. He says, Johnson's got more time than the rest of us. And I said, I would have more time, you guys didn't get wounded. And I said, I haven't got a weapon. They said, neither has you. And you're about the same size, so you started out, you know. You both look like you're even. So anyway, the first night was in a barn. Now it's kind of leery because I'm sleeping with the enemy here. And so I told him, I guess this is where I picked up German. I said, Inte geweg. Am du geweg? Kann diese Soldata scooter you? But I made a mistake there because I had half Swedish and half German.
Mm-hmm.
But he understood me. And I put a Red Cross armbands on him,
Mm-hmm.
and a flag across his chest, and I said, now you are stretcher bearer.
But he was still wearing a German uniform then?
Yeah. And he wanted to take his German uniform off and dig a hole and hide it and find some civilian clothes. And I said, no, don't do that. Because if we get captured, we'll both be shot. Because you'll be shot for a deserter, and I'll probably be shot for helping you. But if you keep your uniform on, and I keep mine, I can always tell them that you're my prisoner and you have to do it, you know. And we'll play it that way. But we never did get captured. But anyway, things worked out pretty good until marched all over Holland and bandaged up, a lot of soldiers. I bandaged up ours until one time there was a Regina rifle captain, and he had so many bullet holes in him I didn't know where to start. So and he was breathing out blood and breathing it back in. So I gave him a shot of morphine and laid his head so the blood would drain out, you know, the best I could. And when I was doing that, our outfit moved off. And I looked, could see the sun was going down, and I just seen the tail end of them going down the railroad tracks, and they're about 2 miles away by that time. So I followed them. I went along the tracks, and I went under a railway station thing.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, the next day they got three Germans out of there with they had machine guns and everything else, and so
3 Germans.
yeah, soldiers, yeah. So I guess I had my flashes up. So somebody said, "How did you manage that?" And I said, "Oh." They looked out at me and they says, "No, let him go. Leave him. He make more trouble for the Canadian Army, then he'd give us nothing but trouble. Leave him, don't shoot him. That's some bullshit, but, oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's one of those things, story I made up. But anyway, it was about true. So I didn't find our outfit. I found A company, headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard
A company is a different company from HQ company, headquarters company.
Oh, yeah.
They were both different companies.
Oh, well, this was maybe headquarters company, but it was in higher up anyway than Charlie company.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, half the time I didn't know what the hell I was doing anyway, so. So I ended up and I heard them talking. And they says, "Who go there?" And I says, "Me, Johnson. Stretcher bear." Oh, okay. So they gave me hell. They said, "We could have put a shot you because you snuck up on us. We thought you were German." I said, "No." So I'm Canadian. Okay. So I stayed with that outfit for a week or so before I'd get back to my own outfit. And the main...
There's all different Canadian units.
Yeah.
You know what units?
Well, it was more headquarters Canadian uniform, but I was Charlie company.
Oh, Canadian Scottish Regiment, but headquarters company.
Oh yeah, Canadian Scottish Regiment, yeah. And anyway, in the meantime, I found out that my mother got a telegram that I was missing in action because I didn't report back to the Charlie company for a week, because I was lost there till they escorted me back over.
Well, this would have been a whole different Canadian unit because in HQ company they would have probably sent you back to Charlie.
Yeah.
So I think you ended up with another unit.
But they ended up back in Charlie company anyway.
And this is, what dates are we talking now?
Oh, this would be, maybe February or end of February, March, or,
Right.
Getting later on, yeah. So I ended back up with our outfit, but then on April the 22nd, I know, that's when I got wounded. This one, our outfit always was getting in trouble. And he panicked and we were on one side of the dike and the Germans were on the other. And he panicked and he ran over the dike and got in with the Germans. And they shot him.
One of the Canadian guys.
Yeah, one of our Canadian Scottish. I forget his name now, but he went in there and they shot him and he was paralyzed, wounded, went through his lung and under his. So he was a heavy kid, 180 pounds and full equipment. So I had to drag him about 200 or 300 feet, drag him along the dike. And every time I moved, they shot at me. But I think they shot about 25 rounds at me before they hit me. Because I count the bursts,
But
And-
you were wearing Red Cross armbands.
Oh yeah, but it was
you were walking along the dike.
Well, I wasn't walking. I was dragging him, laid down and.
But on the dike.
Yeah, on the dike, yeah. Because otherwise he'd go in ditch and hard to drag him, And anyway, I just about got him to our side there. And he was fighting me all the time too. And I told him that he'd have shut up or I'd club him one, But in the meantime, the one thing that when I was doing all this, I wasn't there at all. I showed you the picture.
Which one?
Oh, there's a picture there I had with my mother holding my little baby brother.
Oh yeah.
And I'm there under rhubarb my hand up like this, shading my eyes from the sun.
And you were standing on the rhubarb?
I was under a rhubarb leaf, you know, the big rhubarb.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And that's what I seen just before I got hit.
When you were still dragging this guy along.
I was still dragging him, yeah. Because I asked our outfit, did I any time quit dragging him? They said, no, dragged him all the time. Till you got hit.
Oh, until you get him back to our lines, I would guess.
Eh?
Until you get him back to our lines, I would guess.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I was about from here to the fireplace when I got hit. And the force of the bullet knocked me right off the dike and right into our lines. And then
well, why didn't you take him off the dike immediately and get back to the lines to the own Scottish?
If I'd have went off the dike right away, I'd have been still in German territory.
All right.
Because he went down over the dike and went long ways, seemed to me. So I mean, the easiest was to drag him along the dike. It was kind of a roadway, you know, gravel.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, when I got hit, on the right shoulder, my arm went limp, and I couldn't do nothing with it. So I undid my tunic and took my left arm and took my right arm and pushed it inside the tunic and made a sling. And then I told the guys there that by that time they had just reached over the dike and grabbed him by the boots and pulled him in, safety. And I told them, it was dark by that time, and I said, if you peel back his uniform or something and find a fleshy part of his arm or whatever it was, and because I got to do this left-handed, and then pull the pin out of that morphine bottle, and then I took and jabbed the needle into him and squirted with this hand. This other arm was no good, was useless. And then I walked out 2.5 kilometers to the truck, to where they had a truck, and they took us to the RA first aid post, you know, like where they.
And you walked all the way with a limp arm.
Yeah.
Anybody want hot chocolate?
No thanks.
Oh, I can will, yeah, please, yeah.
Yes.
I'd make it, but I'm
I
busy.
said no thanks.
Oh, no thanks. Okay. One.
Yeah, anyway, that's how it happened.
Oh, you managed to drag this guy along with one arm?
No, when I dragged him with the 2 arms till I got to,
Shot.
yeah, to about 6 feet from the edge of the dike. And then when they hit me, the force of the bullet just knocked me right off the dike into our clearing. Then I was useless after that, except I still knew how to give a shot of morphine with my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did. Then I detailed 2 guys to carry him out on a stretcher, and I walked alongside of us. I think it was 2.5 kilometers through the bush in the dark, yeah, to the truck. And they loaded him on a stretcher on the roof of the Jeep, and I sat inside on a seat there. And the driver in that didn't know I was wounded. I went to because lots of times I used to escort somebody right to the dressing place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. I got there and they were fixing him up because he was in bad shape. And then one of the guys, they said, Johnson, aren't you going back to your unit? And I said, well, I want you to look at my shoulder before I go. And then they said, why the hell didn't you tell us you were shot? I said, well, you were too busy with him. You didn't have time for me. And the funny thing, it didn't start paining yet. And then they laid me on a
You gave
stretcher.
yourself a shot of morphine? before?
I didn't give myself a shot, no. I wouldn't take it. Because I thought if I took it, I don't know, wouldn't be able to carry on my duty. So anyway, I give it to him. And next thing I knew, I'm in that dressing station, laying on a stretcher. Then they give me some morphine. The doctors there did. And I laid there on that stretcher for all night. But it hadn't started to hurt yet. I don't know, I guess the shock hadn't turned, you know. But then the next thing they just cut it open and dressed it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they put me on a plane and I ended up in England.
They put you on a plane or on a ship?
Yeah, on a stretcher.
Well, on a plane or on a ship?
No, on the plane. So I had a plane ride in and a plane ride out. I had better chance than the other ones that went ship.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So anyway, that's about the size of it. When I ended up in England, and I ended up in Brussels Hospital. That's where they took me with their own truck, the company ambulance thing, into Brussels. And I was in Brussels a couple of weeks, and they had cut my open and was cleaning the wound and giving me a bunch of salt.
He's tired.
Yeah. Anyway, to clear the wound, I was at Horsham Hospital, or in Brussels, in there for a couple of weeks or some damn thing. And then they flew me to England in Horsham Hospital. I guess that's about all, yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think you told me some more the other day at the Legion.
Oh.
About the training that you received for going stretcher bearer. How was that like? Or what do you have to do? Because you got like a course.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had but I was supposed to get 3 weeks, but I only got 2 weeks. 1 week. 1 week fast course.
Mm-hmm.
How to stop bleeding and how to set broken bones, how to, just mainly to stabilize somebody so they could be trucked out.
And do you remember any funny stories that happened? Any funny things that happened during the war?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that that before I got wounded, I had that. I forget where that was, but it was maybe it was around Swola or what, or Devon, or they gave me this young German soldier.
Herman.
Yeah, he was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a stretcher bear out of him. He was teaching me German, I was teaching him English. And I think neither one of us ended up, he couldn't speak English very good, and I couldn't speak German, but I understood. And I know one time the Dutch underground come and wanted somebody stretcher bearer, somebody come. They had a bunch of German prisoners that was wounded.
Do you remember what town this was?
Don't remember the town, but I know It was ahead of our lines a couple of miles, and we had a walk out there. And I called him Henry, and I said, Henry, come us mit dish.
Hendrik?
Hendrik. And Henry, you know, any German name. I named him.
Hendrik is a Dutch name.
Oh, is it?
But
Oh.
Heinrich, that's a German name.
Oh, Heinrich, I guess I called him. But anyway, he settled for any name I give him, so I was his boss.
You call him Herman, right? The German 20-year-old?
Yeah,
Herman the German.
yeah, Herman, I think, yeah.
Herman the German.
Yeah. And anyway, we went there, and it was in a underground, under bunker,
Mm-hmm.
and pitch dark. I went in there and I stepped on a German major's foot, and he called me.
And the Dutch underground, was keeping these Germans in the basement or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you stepped in and
Prisoners.
stepped on this guy's foot?
Stepped on the German major's foot, and he called me Schweinhund, and I says, Ich verstehen Sie Deutsche sprechen. And he didn't say anymore, because he didn't know that's all I do, but I guess I said it with an accent that he figured he isn't going to tangle with me. And then I had Herman there with me. He could speak German, so, but he wasn't going to give himself away.
But Herman was still wearing a German uniform.
Eh?
Herman was still wearing a German uniform.
He was, yeah.
So they probably all recognized him, didn't they?
Yeah, oh yeah. But I know I made a stretcher bear him out of, so.
And instead of being a slave to dig holes, you had your own little slave.
Yeah. He was happy with that, because I used to get him his meals, you know, and get him.
But did they come and get him after a while, or?
Yeah, I was with me 1 week, and then there was 2 Canadian soldiers come in with fixed bayonets and everything. Come in to get Herman or Heinrich, whatever I called him. And I told him, you take those bayonets off, put them in your scabbard. As he understands me, I can speak some German, and I'll tell him to go with you, and he won't give you no trouble, I promise. But you take him as a human being, not as a dog, not drag him, you know. And so they did. Well, I guess when I had stretcher bear, when I did have some authority, I guess. Not a commissioned officer, but I can tell them guys what to do. So they took him, and I never seen him again.
Wonder what happened to him.
I don't know. But I wonder when I got wounded. The guy I saved, he never got a hold of me or nothing. Nobody did. The outfit, Canadian and Scottish, never thanked me for what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Only the one officer I was with. I heard when I was coming out of the hospital in Brussels, and somebody said, "Did you get your MM?" And I said, "No, I didn't know I was supposed." And they says, "Major so-and-so was going to recommend you for an MM, but he got killed before he got the papers made up." So
I have. This would have been either in February or in April.
it was April 22nd April I got wounded.
So you would have been recommended in either February or in April.
Mm-hmm. Well, mostly April, because it was 22nd of April.
I've got the copies of the battle diaries
Oh yeah.
with all the recommendations in there,
Oh.
including recommendations that never materialized into a medal.
Oh, didn't they?
So I could have a look if your name's on there.
Yeah, I'm Arthur Eric Johnson, K3572.
Private.
That was my
Stretcher bearer.
private.
With C Company.
Yeah, Charlie Company. Somebody said, how come you only had 4 numbers? And I said, that's all I could remember. That's why they only give me 4 numbers. But it wasn't. So what time I joined up was they changed the.
Let me grab the battle diaries there in the room. I could even look up the date you were wounded.
Yeah, if you're
Right. And
if
can I
you're-
have a look?
if you're conscripted,
Mm-hmm.
you had 6 numbers
Mm-hmm.
or 7 numbers of your conscription. 6 if you volunteered ordinary, but I got 4 numbers. So.
Be right back, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Go to get the papers. You stay there.
Should I shut this off? How do I shut it off? Me?
Again?
How do I shut it off? I guess it's.
Press this button. Again.
Hey?
Wounded at Wagenborgen.
Yeah, Wagenborgen. Yeah.
And on the 22nd of April.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At about 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Tell us your story about the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I was sitting on a stump and I fell asleep and I woke up and looked, there's 2 timber wolves looking me right in the eye. So I thought, oh, well, they won't bother me because they won't. So they said, oh, he's too skinny. They're just bones. We'd choke on the bones. Let him live another year and see. Then we'd get him and get some more meat. But I forget where that was. It was in Saskatchewan someplace.
Was that Carrot River or was it
Around there, yeah.
around there? Go for it.
Tax ska ha. If ska det bli. En ingen kan det få. Det kan det få mig.
And what does that mean?
Thanks you should have, married you should be, and if you can't get anybody else, you can always get me. And she said, I hope I never get that bloody heart up. But I'm just testing my Swedish to see whether they could understand me.
And she did.
Yeah.